All right, everybody, how are we doing today? Steve Mingleco, Final Web Design, and today I want to talk web technologies and the differences between them and which ones are going to be best for your business or service or blog or whatever digital presence you're. Final Web Design, this is Steve. So why don't we just start with there are different web technologies, whether you know that or don't know that. There's three main technologies out there, and how I could break it down as best I can is you have your basic custom code. Now this was the very first websites that were being built. It usually consists of HTML, CSS, and maybe a little bit of JavaScript to give the functionality. So the very first type of website would be a complete custom code build. Now, not a lot of people do these anymore because with all the bells and whistles and logins and users, and there's just way too complicated to do this all by scratch. But nonetheless, the first thing would be custom code, custom website development. The second and probably most common for small businesses is the CMS platforms. This can include the WordPress, the Joomlas, the Drupals. And these are probably the most popular because they help most small businesses kind of power the back end. How do you add content? How do you add images? Things like that are able to be done through these CMS platforms. And then the third, and probably the most complicated, and what most corporation level businesses will do is an application or an app development. This usually consists of something like React.js, Vue.js, Angular. These are probably the most popular. So in this video, I'm going to kind of break down these three web technologies, what most people are using and what's probably best for your business, so you can kind of distinguish what you want to use going forward for your company and your digital presence. So, as I kind of mentioned, the first one here is just custom code. Now, this was what was originally done with the internet. Most people would get into a text editor, code editor, Visual Studio Code, and create some lines of code, throw it up to the server, and that was basically it. It was pretty simple, but the thing that happened is as websites got bigger, as websites got more complicated, as, again, things like user logins and sliders and schedules and all these things that the websites can do these days, it takes far too much resources to custom build all of these what they call modules or components that are providing all this functionality on the front end. So the first thing would be the custom code. However, it is probably the least feasible and the one that I would say just drop out of your idea when you're building this site right from the get-go, because nobody's really doing custom anymore. It's far too hard and too much time and resources. I mean, if you have the budget and you really wanted to do everything custom, not saying it couldn't be done. It's just we are at a point with technology, with iPhones, tablets, all this responsive stuff, that you're going to have a way too much it's going to be way too complicated to build your website using custom code. So I would just say drop that idea. Nobody's building sites from the ground up anymore. The second thing I would say is, and probably the most popular and probably what's going to be best for your business given your budget and how your business is able to then manage the website by adding content and stuff, would be to use a CMS platform. Now, there's many different CMS platforms out there. The one we work with the most and is probably the most popular is the WordPress CMS. WordPress has been around for a long time. Started as a blogging platform, has really evolved into a full service CMS platform. And the big thing about why you'd want to build with a CMS platform is, again, so that somebody internally in your business, once the website's built and published, can go in there and almost like a Word document, update content and text and change words and dates and things like that might be important for the website going forward. You also, with a CMS platform, will have like a user portal dashboard where you can go in and kind of manage some of these functions in the back of the website. So it does make it a lot easier for small businesses. Now, there's a lot of them out there. There's the WordPress, there's the Joomlas, there's the Drupals. I would just focus on WordPress. You can get into those other ones. They all have their own little benefits, but probably 70-80% now are powered by WordPress, and that gives you a huge outlet that if you ever need another plugin or extension or somebody else to help with the website, there's a lot of skilled WordPress web developers out there. Most all these platforms in the back end will use PHP, which is a server-side language, to connect to your database. But in the long run, if you're going to build a new website, and you can still customize the design and the look and the aesthetics, the UI, the UX, but probably you're going to want to work with a WordPress website. You can usually find a WordPress website anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000, really depending on the size and the functionality and things like that. So with that being said, I would say most small businesses are going to want to use a WordPress. Now, the third and final, and what is most corporations use, is something like application development, something that's going to be able to go onto your App Store, Google Store, Android. So you're going to want to make sure that if that's your goal, if you're going to the App Store and if you're trying to just be a strictly downloaded application, you're going to need to use these technologies. However, so few businesses these days with responsive design really need a full-fledged application. In fact, in a lot of cases, it's completely irrelevant. People don't like downloading things to their phone. Most people just want to access it through the web browser. So that's basically the next thing, would just be applications. Now, what are these application technologies? Well, there's three big ones again. So you have the React.js, which is powered by Facebook. You have Angular, which is powered by Google. And then the third and last one is Vue.js, the one that we personally use at our company most often. And that is the open source. So basically, there's a whole community of people that are working on it and building out that technology with the Vue application. Now, why would somebody want to build an application over a website? Well, again, you have the app stores, you have that deep functionality where you can integrate with their actual phone, and things like photos and all those type of features. But more than that, from a development standpoint, for the developer, you're really able to kind of custom create anything that needs to be created. So I think about this last business where they were kind of having maps that would look around and pull up different data from different sections, almost like a Google Maps. That was done in an application because some of that stuff had to be custom developed, and it kind of had a lot of unique functionality that only something like an application could really deliver to the user end. But when it gets to applications, these things can get incredibly expensive. Some corporations will have teams of six-figure salary developers working on application development. Companies like Facebook, it's built on React. A whole office building full of people working on it every day. So if you're going to get into applications, have a very good idea that you're getting into some pretty big money when it comes to development, because it's hard to find those skills out there for those developers that can do all that custom code. They're very expensive, and just the process of building everything can be much more resource intensive, as far as all the modules have to be built, all the setup, the different servers. It just can become a lot more. Guys, those are kind of the big overviews that I wanted to review today. Now, if your business is in a position where you're kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do, I'm going to say start looking at WordPress and see where that could kind of get you in the long run. That's where, again, 80 to 90% of small businesses these days are using WordPress. And is it my favorite? No, it's not my favorite. Does it work good? Yes, it does. It does. Like, I hate to admit it. Once you know your way around the back, it really does work. We'll get all the custom design and UI and functionality and do all the tricky parts for you. And then we'll also give you a platform that then ultimately in the end, you can go in and then make those changes and make those updates and create the site as you need for the business. So if you guys do have any questions about application development, CMS development, custom coding development, that's what we're here for. We love to help people. If you have a moment, a like and subscribe. That stuff helps. And we will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.